Greetings, puckheads, and welcome back to the about to say fight is final. Welcome back to Clear the Ice here on the Edge of Philly Sports A Flyers post-game show, hosted tonight by your boy Matty B and my main man, the Gobbler. The aforementioned Mayfair Mafia, I guess, is in the house tonight.
Yeah.
So I didn't really catch much of the show last night, but I did see that last part, and I do have a rebuttal for the Bourbonites there. At least we were born in the 215. At least we were raised in the 215, not some offshoot of the state of Delaware. All right, we were born in Philadelphia County, not in Delaware. All right, so to our esteemed colleagues there, Mike and Al. Yeah, that's what I got to say. Pat, how you doing tonight?
Matt, I guess, that's a lot of haterade, and rightfully so with those two. The Civil War has now been drawn right now. Those Delco delusionals down there who just sit in that 700 level, just think everything's going to peachy on one side. I'm sorry. We see things a little different, okay? Our waters are a little different from those two clowns. I have to deal with them first thing in the morning. It's going to be a little painful to deal with first thing. Jesus.
Edge of Philly Sports reminds me it's Delco, not Delaware. Really? What's the difference? Honestly, what the hell is the difference? Delco, Delaware. It's south of the airport. Guess what? It's not Philadelphia. So it might as well be Delaware. Why not? I mean, who the hell cares? It's Delaware, in my opinion. But yeah.
Yes.
Pat, which way are we flip-flopping?
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, don't worry about it, okay? Don't worry about it, Al. You don't worry about which way we flip flop. It's gonna be a positive note tonight, okay? They won, okay? They win when me and Mike or me and Matt are hosting the show, okay? They win, okay? You know what I mean?
Let's actually get back to the actual topic at hand. Of course, we got ourselves a post-game show. Got ourselves a Flyers win tonight. Pat, 4-2 winners over them Ottawa Senators, a team that's actually kind of given the Flyers fits this season. Not necessarily the crispest of wins, but I'll take a 4-2 win against Senators. The Flyers came into this game really kind of on a down note. We're going back to back, and last night the 5-2 loss to the Capitals, not a great game. I want to talk a little bit about that game before we get into this game. We had Sandstrom going in net tonight, which is a big question mark, I think, going the rest of the way. But Torts said it. There's only about 4 more of these opportunities that we may see Sandstrom in situations this season. It's pretty much going to be Urson. But, Tyson Forrester, Sandstrom did enough. The Flyers came out and handled their business tonight, 4-2. Got some help from the post a couple times tonight, but I'll take that as well. So what's your take on the game so far? What's your take on the game tonight, 4-2, on the bounce back of a 5-2 loss against the Capitals?
Like you just said, Matt, it's a good way to respond after a loss. After a horrible loss down in D.C., you come back home thinking there's going to be some fatigue behind your legs. You think you're going to be tired and wiped out. But no, this team's still strong, and I get it. The Senators are not, a contender by any stretch. But however, like you just said, this is a team that's giving you the fits here. So you won, against that Ottawa team, against your former, captain, and yeah, I like what I saw from this team. I like the fact that, again, Tyson Forster just got 2 back-to-back goals within 45 seconds. One was off the face-off. The other one, he got that free penalty shot. Then you had Felix Sandstrom, who hasn't been seen in God knows how long, showed up tonight. And huge, again, making the most of his opportunity. And really, the way he was breaking down and twin the pipes, with his breaks, with the spread butterfly, really came into play. He came with some big clutch stops, and again, he faced a double minor, and it was clutch right there. So I got to give Felix Armstrong tons of credit tonight, because I thought this was, an automatic another L, and he proved me wrong.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, the Cal Peterson situation, 7 goals last week against Pittsburgh. He was released, went through waivers unclaimed, and now he's back with the Flyers, back down in Lehigh. Still counting for about $3 million against our salary cap, which Say what you want about that trade. It was a necessary evil in order to unload Provorov. So I get it. People are a little pissed off about the return in Cal Peterson, but Cal Peterson wasn't really supposed to actually do anything this year. It's the other situation that kind of put him in the situation that he ended up being in, and now you got to kind of move from there. So I agree with you. As far as last night's game, Pat, I do have one thing I want to talk about, and that's the benching of Bobby Brink. Some backlash from Tortorella as maybe treating the players a little bit too hard on that. Brink was really kind of left out to dry on that goal. He failed to kind of fill a lane that he was supposed to fill. He had that weak side, and he was kind of caught, flat-footed a little bit. And Torts went off, man. I mean, I haven't seen John Tortorella do that in like years. Like I'm talking like Vancouver Canuck long years, and he went off. Obviously, Brink has not been one of Tortorella's golden children all season. He's kind of like fought up and down with playing time, up and down with the minors all season. What's your take on the way it was the way it went down? Was Tortorella too hard on Brink? Brink came back, played meaningful minutes tonight. Like, he kind of learned his lesson type thing. But what do you stand on the benching and the backlash that Tortorella handled it wrong? He handled it too harsh.
I mean, listen, we all know the John Tortorella attitude is still deep inside there. What he said he's changed and becoming like this old, mature, coach. John Tortorella is John Tortorella. I mean, like you said, it's almost impossible to fit his bill and the way he wants to construct things. And if he sees one little hiccup, man, he's going to let you know about it. He's going to, like you said, there's some guys who are his favorite, and there's other guys he might see this bigger future for. And Bobby Brink does have a bright future. I mean, listen, when they were winning back in the early part of the season, when they going through your Octobers and Novembers, Bobby Brink was there. Bobby Brink was on the cusp of being a top 10 goalie. I know it's very young in the season, playmaker, but he was there. So I love what I saw from Bobby Brink. But yeah, he can be a little harsh, but you know what? That's his old school mentality. It's just the way he is, and you're not going to get that out of him. Unfortunately, it's not going to be able to change him. But listen, if it's to make a Bobby Brink a better player and make him that much stronger mentally, I'll take it.
Yeah, and obviously there was no long-lasting repercussions. As I mentioned, Bobby Brink played meaningful minutes tonight. Let's get into tonight's game, but before we do, let me mention that tonight's this segment on the show is brought to you by the good folks down there in Dolan's, 24 East Sellers Ave, Ridley Park, Delaware. Sorry, Ridley Park, Pennsylvania. Dolan's for Quizzo, music, and great times, memorabilia giveaway. Go down and check out Dolan's. Check out PJ. Say hi to PJ. Tell him that EOP sent you, and you may never know who might fall through the front door at Dolan's at any given time. So go on down there. All right, Pat, let's get into the goal scoring outburst. The Flyers didn't have to wait long tonight. 1 minute, 8 seconds in. Joel Farabee, his 18th. Nick Seeler gets the lone assist, his 11th. 1-0 Flyers. An interesting goal that, Farabee kind of controlling the puck off in the corner, throws the puck back to Seeler. Seeler walks in, draws a little attention from the defense. Farabee then, as any good instinctualized forward would do, went right to the net and was the beneficiary of a tip shot. Nice tip play. Kind of found its way underneath the goalie's pads to give the Flyers a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, very excited to see that one. That was a beautiful, again, Nick Seeler just trying to wing it at the back of the net. He makes a nice little redirect, and he gets the Flyers up and going, setting the tone for the Philadelphia Flyers moving forward. And I liked it. I liked everything I saw out of that one. Great play by Joel Farabee, and then that I think like a 14-point or 14 games drought that he was on. And again, a way to build confidence. So that's again, come Monday night against the St. Louis Blues. We'll see more momentum, more confidence playing from him, more offensive game.
No, absolutely. He's one of those players that I think everybody's rooting for. I mean, he's considered, and rightfully so, he's a foundational piece. He is part of the future. He is going to be part of what the Flyers are going to hopefully do to eventually win a Stanley Cup. So Farabee is one of those players, and it's good to see him get back in the scoring column, again, his 18th of the year. And that would be all your scoring in the first period as the Flyers would head into the intermission. 1-0, ahead 1-0. But in the second, the Senators would get right back at it. Vladimir Tarasenko is 17th from Pinto and Joseph at the 4:04 mark. This is a goal that, really didn't, the Flyers were caught kind of flat-footed. It was a 2-on-1 situation. But at the end of the day, Pat, I think Sandstrom should have had this. This was a pretty clean look that he had, and Tarasenko kind of just beat him short side with the puck. Again, I think this was a goal that maybe was a jitter type goal. He got it out of his system, but I think Sandstrom should have had this goal.
I totally agree. I think the turnover in the neutral zone that Tarasenko created again during that play right there, the Philadelphia Flyers, all they were doing, and it was your old typical dump and chase, skate around, dump and chase, dump and they really weren't getting anything going offensively, and by then the Senators were bringing tons and tons of some more and more offensive pressure, and then you saw Tarasenko just unload it. And like you said, he could have stopped it. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just trying to say maybe a little fatigue. I don't know. But yeah, he should be able to grab that. But again, that's a little bit of the rust. And yeah, Tarasenko gets away with one.
And that goal was at 4:04, at the 4:04 mark of the second, tied things up at 1. The game kind of bogged down from there. It was kind of back and forth. I got a little concerned that the Flyers were kind of getting, kind of lulled to sleep by the Ottawa Senators. But they would be woken, and everybody else would be awoken at the end of the second period, at the 19:13 mark, starting with Tyson Forrester off of the draw. Scott Laughton gets the assist, his 22nd assist. Forrester's 15th goal, a big old blast off the draw. Again, he kind of throws it against you always are taught, listen, when nothing else is there, just put the puck on the net, and you never know what's going to happen. Forrester takes it off the draw, throws it at the net and with all that massive humanity, and it finds its way home. Forrester, the first of a big minute and a half for the man to give the Flyers a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just phenomenal. What's up, Roger? He goes, again, like you said, that's something you play in NHL 98 or something like that. Just right here he goes. But yeah, right off the faceoff circle, he gets the puck and he just shoots a laser. And, with all, like you said, with all that track that's in front of him, he winds up ringing the back of the net. So boom, he goes from there, and then 45 seconds later, man, he finds his way on, slamming another one to the back of the net.
Yeah, at the 1958 mark of the period, Forrester was kind of sprung on a nice little breakaway, had a step on the defender. The defender kind of gives that little hook, which was enough. The old penalty shot was called, the most exciting play in hockey. Forrester then kind of a couple things I've noticed about the Flyers on the penalty shot. With the penalty shot goal, that's the fifth penalty shot goal the Flyers have scored this year. That is the most in NHL history in one season in penalty shots. The Flyers have potted 5 penalty shot goals, the most in NHL history, so congratulations to them.
Wow.
But also the technique that I've noticed the Flyers employing this year on that penalty shot. A much a slower, methodical, kind of wear down the goalie as they're breaking in. Very different from the stuff you're used to kind of seeing with the fast Deacon left, right, and then kind of going backhand or forehand, whatever. But the Flyers employ a very slow, methodical, almost, and I talked about this with Al before, when you're talking about a penalty shot, you got to keep moving the puck and yourself forward. If you stop moving yourself or the puck forward, they're going to call the play dead. The Flyers flirt with that all the time, but it's working. They're getting the shots off, and then, as I mentioned, an NHL record, their 5th penalty shot goal of this season. Forrester's 2nd goal inside of a minute. He's got 9 goals in the last 9 games, so gives the Flyers a huge 3-1 lead heading into the second intermission.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it was really, really beautiful. Again, gets that, the penalty shot, and again, that's something like they've been doing with this odd man rushes on their shorthanded goals. It's just that they take their time, and like you said, it's all about the fancy moves. It's just they find a location, whether it's top shelf, whether it's the 5-hole. They find the back of the net, and they don't have to get pretty with that puck. They just know how to find the back of the net, and that's all that matters right now. And that's what they're doing. They're just slowly coming in, putting a lot of mental, frustration and what's going on with, trying to play the one-on-one game. And like I said, they're just unloading to the back of the net.
It's actually a very good question by the Edge of Philly Sports, asking if the Flyers penalty shot is a new tush push. Bring on the controversy. Al, I told you this. They flirt with that line of stopping. On a penalty shot, the rule is very specific. You have to be consistently moving the puck forward or moving the puck and yourself forward. You can't stop. You can't lull. it's a razor edged sword that they're working on, but it's working up to this point. But very good point from the guy from Delaware who makes about maybe a potential tush push controversy with the Flyers' new penalty shot. But on this night, it worked. 3-1 Flyers heading into the third period, and then Thomas Chabot will get the. We get the Senators that much closer with the goaltender pulled his 6th of the year from Kubiak and Mr. Claude Giroux. Claude Giroux's 35th assist of the year. Definitely I has found his new niche in the league when it comes to not scoring goals.
Yeah,
But
did you see that?
yeah,
Did you see? Did you see? He put his little paws on. I believe he put his little paws on Forrester.
yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Claude Giroux's a dirty player. He's been a dirty player his whole career. Man.
All right.
I don't know. I've never thought that. I don't have any respect. I never was on the Claude Giroux train here. I think he's a little bitch, honestly. But Thomas Chabot makes it 3-2 in a game that it was weird because shot in front was fanned on, but the puck bounced out. Chabot was kind of standing right there in the slot and beat Sandstrom, who almost got over there. Sandstrom's pad was right there, but he kind of elevated it a little bit, kind of squeaked through to make it 3-2. And then the Flyers, actually, the last minute of this game was pretty much played exclusively inside the Flyers zone. Kudos to them as they were just tenacious. Just kind of kept the Senators kept the pressure on. The Flyers repelled it, and then Cam York at the very end of the game, with less than a second to go, puts in the empty netter. And there you have 4-2, Pat. And the Flyers now move to 32, 23, and 7, 71 points through 62 games. Pat, they had 75 points all of last year, so we are now 4 points off of our entire season win total or point total here in early March. And looking pretty good as we, as you mentioned at the top, we definitely needed this win.
Yeah, you need this one again, a nice little confidence booster. Again, no point intended, but saved by the bell because there was a few times Felix Sandstrom was saved by a couple ones off the crossbar. But I mean, again, if I was to tell you, he was going to be unstoppable today and looking really, really sharp between the pipes, and I forget how long it's been in his last game, but I could have sworn it was like almost close to a year. If he would have just come in there, it was. Yeah, so I mean, he pretty much got thrown to the fire and said, "Here, give it a whirl. It's your time, kid." And like I said, a lot of his forms today were just nice, beautiful, butterfly stretches. Didn't let a lot of things get past him today. So, like I said, especially facing that two-minute minor penalty. So again, you're facing 4 minutes being shorthanded, and he stood on his head then. So again, I gotta give Felix Sandstrom a lot of credit. But you're moving now. Come Monday. You have the Blues coming through to come into town. Again, a team that's pushing for the playoffs. And this is what the kind of competition the Flyers want. They want to see those upper teams and see where they're what they're about to go against. Because come playoff time, there's not going to be a bottom feeder team. And especially like they said on the broadcasting tonight, we don't know what the teams are going to look like next Friday.
Yeah, and Lewis, what's up with you? How you doing tonight? I agree. Let's head over and take a look now at some team stats and some numbers on the night. Before we do, remind everybody at home that this segment is brought to you by the good folks over there at Sherry's Ticket Town for a great price, no hidden fees. www.sherrystickets.com. Save an additional 10% when you enter the promo code EOP10, and make sure you head over there as soon as you're done watching this. We have 14 more games for the Flyers this month of March. And, of course, you got the Phillies that are kicking off here in about 3 weeks, too. But, all right, let's talk some team stats there, Gobbler. On the night, the Flyers outshot the Senators 40-26. The Flyers now on the season have registered 2,071 shots for an average of about 33.3 a game. They've given up 1,722 for an average of about 27.7. So they're handling their business with the shots on the faceoffs. The Flyers did lose the faceoff battle tonight, 31-23. Power play continues to remain anemic. Flyers went 0 for 4, dropping their total on the season to 26 for 199 for 13% even. Horrible, Pat. Horrible power play. But on the other side, they killed off 5 penalties to raise their total to 197 times shorthanded and 170 kills for an 86.7 percentile of effectiveness. Pat, 13% on the power play, almost 87% on the penalty kill. I don't understand it. Do you?
No, and this has been going on last year. I mean, I don't remember a Tortorella team that's ever done this. So I'm just trying to put the pattern together, just trying to come up with something. Is there a cycle? Was this going through the John Tortorella? And no, this is weird for me. I mean, I get like when I was watching it, right? They go 0 for 4. Few of the power plays, it's pass happy. Just too much overthinking and not just trying to focus in and just trying to find the back of the net. And then like when they get to shorthanded, they have one objective: get to the back of the net. So it's a weird dynamic of how this is all being played out.
It is a very weird dynamic, and I think it's a dynamic that I don't feel very comfortable with heading into the playoffs, but we'll see. Weirder things have happened. The Flyers blocked 28 shots. Nick Seeler, once again, putting his body on the line for this team. They gave the Senators blocked 13 shots on the season. The Flyers have now blocked 1,138 shots for the year. That averages out to 18 block shots per game. You don't put your body on the line 18 times a game if you're not totally bought into the coach's system. So say what you want about maybe him being too harsh, but they're still listening.
Yeah, they are. They're listening. And like I said, this team looks very, very good. This team is playing very, very well. What's up, Paul? I don't know which one you're referring to, but yeah, I'm hoping it's me. But like I said, the Flyers are, like I said, hand-on business. No one really saw this team being here where they're at now. And listen, we're getting playoff hockey, and I believe, and I'm not trying to bash the basketball team, but people, I think, see the doom and gloom on that basketball team, and they don't know what they could get with this Philadelphia Flyers team in the postseason. So, again, postseason hockey is going to be rocking the Wells Fargo Center.
And the Flyers did all of this tonight, Pat, with Ryan Ellis, Jamie Drysdale, Rasmus Ristolainen, and Carter Hart currently all on the injured reserve. Flyers have $17.15 million worth of their salary caps currently sitting on IR, and they were able to have the season that they're having and have the night that they had tonight. On the power play, since the 2021 and 22 season, the Flyers have gone 89 for 652, which is about 14%. So there you have some of the numbers tonight as the Flyers win 4-2. Pat, you want to take us around the NHL? You want me to do it? What do you want to do here?
You know what? Let me give me a second to cue it up. But yeah, I mean, I'll go through around the NHL with you. I mean, this is great. I mean, I love talking, some puck. But yeah, like right now, obviously the Flyers win 4-2. Your player of the night would be on offense. Would be, you got your Tyson Forster. He was.
Well, hang on, really, Pat, we're going to do our 3 stars of the night here in a minute.
Okay. So let me go around the score. Okay. All right. This is my first time doing this, hosting this.
No, you're good.
And in the first, the Pittsburgh Penguins are up in Calgary, winning 2-0 right now. Of course, we don't like to hear that, but who cares, because those Pittsburgh Penguins ain't going anywhere. The Jets have won today. They won 5-3 over the Hurricanes, which could be a good sign for the Philadelphia Flyer fans if you're looking to potentially move up in the standings. But this Panthers head down to Detroit, or up to Detroit, and they take care of them 4-0. The Edmonton Oilers win 2-1 right now, or they won 2-1 up there in Seattle. You had the Blues winning at home against the Wild. You had the Predators waffling the Avs at home 5-1. The Sabres giving a beatdown to the Golden Knights, winning 7-2. They put a whole touchdown on them. Wow. I don't know what's going on up there in Buffalo, but we got Maple Leafs taking care of the Rangers, winning 4-3. So that's always a good plus. You have the Lightning taking care of those bottom feeder Montreal Canadiens 4-3. And then, of course, you had the Islanders winning at home. I don't know what's going on up there in B-Town, but they're starting to slow down a little bit. Yeah. They win 5-1. And then, of course, Columbus heads into Chicago, winning 5-2. So that would be your round of the league Bellhorn. But yeah, Matty B, the B-Town is starting to slow down.
They are. It's they're getting closer to the playoffs, so that means the wheels are gonna start to kind of rock off. But no, you're right. The Bruins, which we're gonna see again here next week or the week after. But let's take a look at the standings real quick, heading into this or coming out of this Saturday night. The Flyers are still currently the third best team in the Metro. But I guess based on that is the reason why they're still kind of where they are, because in the wild card race, they're technically 1 point behind Detroit and Tampa. So I don't know how that works itself out, but well, I do know because Detroit and Tampa are both in the Atlantic. So that's the reason why the Flyers are still going to hold service there in the Metro, because they got to have the top 3 teams per division hold those spots. So very tight right now if you're looking at the wild card versus the Flyers holding that final spot in the Metro. But interesting, if they cannot hold that, it's going to be a really, really interesting situation between them, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Detroit Red Wings at this particular moment in time.
So, Matt, let me ask you a question. I mean, if you are so pretty much between us Panthers and I'm sorry, us the Lightning and Detroit, we're kind of sitting there juggling around pretty much 6 through 8. The top 3 is the Panthers, Boston, and New York. I mean, is Boston who you want to face first?
No, well, I guess based on trends, yeah, I guess you'd want to do that. I don't want nothing to do with Florida, and I don't want nothing to do with the Rangers or the Hurricanes, which we wouldn't see because it's a little bit lower.
Right.
I wouldn't mind seeing Boston, and I also wouldn't mind seeing Toronto. But as far as the Rangers, Panthers, and the Hurricanes, I do not want to see. And I don't want nothing to do with the Tampa Bay Lightning at all, ever in the playoffs. So, there would be the teams that I'm looking at.
Yeah, and that's like I said. If I could get if we could lock up with Boston right now, because like I said, the way they're starting to tread down, give me Boston right out the chute.
Yeah, it really does. It doesn't really seem to matter who Boston gets in the playoffs. They struggle, but let's not count our chickens before they hatch, Pat. With that being said, Pat, let's now take a look at our 3 Flyer stars of the night. I'll remind you and everybody else at home how this is done. This is a playoff of what the NHL does for every game. They give out 3 stars. But for this, we're just doing Flyers players. So it'll be 3 Flyers players who I think are the deserving of star 1, 2, and 3. And Pat will do the same thing. The players that he thinks is deserving. Again, this can only be Flyers players. Even if they lost 6-0, it would have to only be Flyers players. That's what we do here. But here we go. Your 3 Flyers stars of the night. All right, I'll start it off, Pat. Seeing you might not have ever done this with me before, but I'll kind of start it off to kind of break the ice, so to speak. I am going to go ahead with my number 3 star of the evening, Joel Farabee. As we mentioned this, he got off the schneid tonight with the goal. He finished the night with a goal and 3 shots on net with a +1. He is my number 3 star of the game, and I'm also going to go with my number 2 star. I know it wasn't a sexy night for him, but I'm going to go with the goaltender, Felix Sandstrom. He faced 26 shots, saved 24, finishes the night with a 9.23 save percentage. Wasn't tested a whole bunch. Did get some help from the post, but I think under the circumstances, I'll give him that because I think he played really well. And how could I not go with Tyson Forster as my number 1 star? 2 goals on the night. Finished with a gaudy +4. He also had 7 shots on net. So there are my 3 Flyer stars of the night. Farabee, Sandstrom, and Forster.
All right. My number 3, I'm going Nick Seeler. I thought, again, stopping just the way he's a chest protector for a lot of players, just a shield for a lot of these guys, taking puck shots, hit their puck shots. I don't know how that guy's body's has just puck marks all over it, but I mean, this guy has found out a position where he doesn't get himself hurt. He looks very, very good. Again, he just knows how to snipe it, and he gets the little redirect. And again, just being out there, his presence alone puts fear, because you don't know whether he wants to drop the gloves. I mean, if he really wanted to, he has the potential being like a 5-tool player. He can score, he can fight, he can hit. He does it all for me. By another guy, I'm going to go with the crossbars because the crossbars. What? No, I'm kidding. If I'm
Oh,
going to go,
do the crossbar, man. It worked for me.
did
I
it?
like
Did it
that.
cross?
That's
I
outside the
know.
box thinking, Pat. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go the crossbars because man, did they bail out Felix Armstrong quite a few bet. I mean, look, I mean, like I said, that time when he was facing that the double minor, he really got himself out of trouble. No, no, listen, I really got to go. Gunnar Hathaway. I mean, that guy was laying some shots out. I mean, he was going. If I'm going to second star of the game, he was really just putting the body to work, just hitting people, just laying guys out. I mean, he didn't have the points or nothing like that, but he again just big hits, physical. Again, this is part of the reason why this team is winning is because his presence. Again, he's not being the goon. He's not looking for fights, but he's looking to hit people, and he's making things difficult. For you just trying to score on this Philadelphia Flyers club. And of course, though, I gotta go Felix Armstrong being my player of the game. Just the way he produced. Again, stopping 24 out of 26 shots. Again, hasn't played an entire calendar year, so I gotta give it to Felix Armstrong to be my number one.
All right, there you have it. Our 3 Flyers stars of the night, and that was fun. And that segment on the program was brought to you by the good folks over at the Cherry Injury Law Firm for all your workman's compensation, motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or criminal law needs. Try Dave Cherry at 610-565-0300 or www.cherryinjurylaw.com. Pat, interesting week. Flyers, kind of bumped and bruised their way, but we got a new week ahead of us, and here's the new week on the program. Monday night, Austin and Al will come at you. By the way, nobody knows this other than me and you. I built this, and you're the first person to see it. So hopefully this works for everybody. Al and Austin on Monday against the Blues. Me and Mike Lauro will do the Panthers, and you and Austin against the Tampa Bay Lightnings on Saturday. So an interesting week. Let's talk about the week a little bit to come. St. Louis, Florida, and Tampa, all playoff team opponents coming up for the Flyers next week. The games are pretty stretched out. Sam Ersson, I believe, will probably see all 3 starts in this game. Would you be surprised if Ersson does not start all 3 of these games? And in general, this stretch of games, does this stretch of games tell you anything about this team this time next week?
Yeah, I think this week right here, with that schedule, kind of will make up Danny Briere's mind and what he wants to do. Whether he wants to go be a little, as he said, the season kind of dictates itself. So, how everyone's trying to play that guessing game. Was he going to be a seller? Whether he's going to be a buyer? Is he going to add? Is he going to take a little bit off? What's he going to do? Is he going to just be making minor moves? But I think this week alone, going against these 3 teams, will tell you everything that you need to know. And but yeah, I think this team, I think they're going to add just a little bit. I think they're going to take off just a little bit. I think Walker's out of here, and maybe I think Sealer might be out of here, but I think they'll get some something in return.
So the trade deadline is Friday, March the 8th at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Obviously, the biggest day, I guess the regular season biggest day in NHL hockey. We'll get to see who's coming, who's going, who's staying, who's leaving. So we'll definitely be keeping you guys up to date on all that as we kind of navigate through that. One last thing. If you are looking to travel like the pros, then look no further than Philly Sports Trips. They got you covered. This fall, they're heading down to Brazil for the Eagles, I believe, week 1 matchup against 2BD. Now, that's not a new expansion team. That's just to be determined. You'll probably find out in May when everybody else does and when we find out. But they also got you covered heading over to London this summer for the Phillies and Mets and a whole bunch of other stuff. I know they got a trip to Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Fenway Park for the Phillies this summer. That Fenway Park trip is Father's Day weekend, so that's an outstanding present for any father out there. So head over to Philly Sports Trips today to find out everything they have in store for you. Pat, final thoughts on tonight's game, and where can the good folks find you out there?
Final thoughts, again, for a team that's been giving you fits, it's been a pain in your side this whole year, this whole season. You finally put them away big time with a 4-2 win. And again, you're dealing without your number one player, Travis Konechny. You may be getting him back Tuesday from what they were telling on the broadcasting. So listen, all signs are pointing up for this Flyers team. It's a win-win right now. Whether you want to go in, whether they want to sell, because you're going to only build your assets up. You're going to get more and more in return from because of what this team is and where they're at now. So it's a win-win for this Philadelphia Flyers team. I just want to see them if they can take care of some business. If they can win if they win 2 out of 3 this week, I'll be really, really excited for the Philadelphia Flyers, and it'll tell me a little something of how long they can really survive in the playoffs. But yes, catch me tomorrow morning with Al Safiri. Yes. Well, he kind of read my mind there. But, yeah, I got to deal with that knucklehead. The other knucklehead tomorrow. I got to deal with Rocksteady and Bebop tomorrow, first thing in the morning. You guys catch PM and the AM. If you don't watch it, I don't blame you. So, guys, rest up and enjoy your day. Catch me, Pat from Ambler, on X.
Yeah, Pat's going to cheapen himself and go on down to Delco. Let me ask you a question, Pat. When you cross over into the Delco line, do you have to have the enhanced driver's license in order to cross over, or do you need a passport? I mean, how's that work when you enter Delco? Is somebody checking your stuff?
It's you can always feel someone's riding behind you. It's just you just feel creeped out going down there. But I mean, it's like it's going down Elm Street once you get ready to go into the studio. You know what I mean? You got Freddy Krueger just waiting for you.
I hear you. Anyway, and good luck with that. Godspeed, Pat. So, listen, I agree. I think this game was this game was huge. Coming back from yesterday's 5-2 loss, which was a kick in the junk. They had such a dominant first period, but then never came back. That was it. They hung it up at the end of the first period. Got skated off the ice by an old Washington Capitol hockey team. Tonight they come back. They handle their business wearing we didn't talk much about the uniforms. I hated them. I couldn't stand them tonight. Those white monstrosities. Didn't like them at all. But
the retro ones.
Yeah, I did not like them. But listen, they handled their business, and this week, a huge week, a really telling week for Flyers hockey as they get ready to make a closer push to the playoffs again. Al and Austin on Monday night will bring you Flyers Blues. Me and Mike on Thursday talking some Panthers, and then Austin and Pat on Saturday talking to Lightning. By the way, both those Florida games are in Florida, so that's another layer to that as well. So going to be a very interesting telling week. I would like to see them win all 3, but 2 out of 3 I'll definitely live with. I'll tell you what, 6 points, if they can walk out of here with 5, I think it would be a productive week. So, but a good win tonight. Listen, you guys can find me, of course, everywhere across this platform too. Dropping articles. Just did another one tonight on the Phillies bench. We're wrapping that whole thing up. We're working our way down to the end of the list. Only got about the core players left now, as we'll be releasing 2 a week as we get ready for the baseball season. Also on Talking Philly Sports with Matty B every Monday, and on here on the Clear of the Ice. So until then, in the immortal words of Mr. Gene Hart, good night and good hockey.